If you're looking for a movie that might make you want to never again step foot in the ocean, a lake, a pond, or even your own bathtub, Jaws just might be the film you're looking for. So Jaws is an adventure horror movie directed by Steven Spielberg, released in 1975. It is based on the novel by Peter Benchley, who also helped write the screenplay. Jaws takes place during a hot summer on Amity Island, a small community whose business is beaches. When Sheriff Martin Brody, played by Roy Scheider, discovers the remains of a shark attack victim that has washed up on shore, he decides to close the beach. This doesn't bode well with the mayor, Larry Vaughn, played by Murray Hamilton. There's some great back and forth between the two, and ultimately the beach remains open because of the greedy decisions of the mayor and other businessmen. This leads to another shark attack, and a young boy is killed. Now begins the mad hunt for the shark. Chief Brody teams up with local fishermen and professional shark hunter, played by Robert Shaw, and city boy oceanographer Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss. Together, this swashbuckling trio head out to sea on Quint's boat, the Orca, to hunt down the killer shark. Okay, so let's first talk a little bit about the production of this movie, because that in itself is a feat. Steven Spielberg insisted on filming in the bubbling brine of the open sea. It couldn't be done in a tank in a studio or a lake. This caused all sorts of complications with the tides, the lighting, the color, and ultimately pushed production way behind schedule. But Steven Spielberg wanted a sense of realism, so he took on the elements of the ocean itself.
Like you and me, that are out of our element, and having to fight something we have no comprehension how to deal with. That needs a level of authenticity that I thought shooting it in the back lot of Universal in North Hollywood would not give it. There was no going back. It had to be shot in the ocean.
Although there is one scene that uses actual footage of a shark, they used a giant mechanical shark, actually named Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer. It was loaded with gears and electronics and was put in the actual ocean. The shark didn't work a lot and broke down quite a bit, but ultimately they pulled through. So the characters of this film, we have Roy Scheider, who's playing the main character family man sheriff who cares about people. Over the film, he becomes more and more anxious and stressed, terrified of the potential threat of a shark. Then he deals with the guilt of letting the beaches remain open, resulting in another death. Eventually, he decides he's obligated, it's his duty to overcome his fear of water and man-eating sharks and go out to sea. He owes it to his family and to the people of Amity Island. Next, we have Richard Dreyfuss's Matt Hooper. He's got a lot of book smarts, he's educated, he's from a fancy institute. He brings all sorts of shark hunting tech and gizmos.
Hooper, what exactly can you do with these things of yours?
Well, I think I can pump 20 cc's of strychnine nitrate into him if I can get close enough.
And then we have Quint, the grizzled, seasoned shark hunter. He's a mumbling, bossy sailor who romanticizes his life at sea and just wants a capable crew who can tie a good knot and reminisce on lost times. Man, I gotta hand it to Robert Shaw. His performance and delivery of lines in this film are great and make for an enjoyable watch and many iconic quotable lines.
So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb.
The relationship between the characters is great to watch unfold. Three totally different people whose lives come together on a small boat during a shark chase. Quint and Hooper don't quite get along very well, which apparently in real life, the actors who portrayed them didn't either. But there's one great sequence where the three of them are sitting around the table drinking in Quint's boat, and Hooper and Quint go back and forth sharing old stories and showing old scars. Even though they don't quite always get along, the characters here show a nice sense of camaraderie. The suspense and terror this movie creates are, in my opinion, unparalleled in cinema. The shark attacks are gritty, gory, and have a very realistic feel. The opening sequence of the movie, for example, we never even see the shark, yet it is terrifying.
Let's take a listen to this first victim here. Right away, you get these watery triads, and the harps, some piano and other percussion. And then the rhythmic pulse, we're hinting at it, but we're not quite getting it yet as the camera is looking up from the depths at the water. But listen as the pulse kicks in here. And it gets louder and louder. And John Williams actually gives us the sound of the first bite with the orchestra here. Yikes, and then high strings, and then a second bite. And then the struggling, the swimming around, and the kicking. Third bite, fourth bite, fifth bite. Bass drums. What this does to our imagination is that we suddenly feel the terror of Chrissy.
That was a clip from David Collins and his podcast, The Soundtrack Show, which I highly recommend. The score was composed by John Williams and really has become legendary in its classic shark theme. It's so simple, yet so elegant in describing the rhythmic, swimming, and animalistic nature of our underwater predator. The music is oftentimes the only thing that tells the audience where the shark is in relation to the characters. Oftentimes we don't see the shark, but we hear his music. John Williams is so brilliant in his composition of music. This review has only touched the tip of the iceberg, and I could go on talking about Jaws for hours. All in all, Jaws is an incredible, iconic film. I never get sick of watching it, and I can wholeheartedly say that Jaws is a gold mango. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope I've motivated you to give this movie a rewatch, or if you haven't seen it, maybe you want to now. Leave a like or a comment below, and hey, that subscribe button's looking pretty pressable right about now, am I right? Join me next time on I Watch Stuff.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.